Last few years I've been participating in, they do the reading of the Declaration of Independence here in town on the morning of the 4th of July. And my Legion post is the color guard, and I'm usually the guy, one of the rifle guys, and then we got guys with flags. You know, there are 4 or 5 of us, and maybe a couple hundred people out there. There's a huge bike club, a bike gathering, I should say, at several clubs, and they come into town, park their bikes, and they participate. Because what it is people are given a flyer, and each person gets a different line to read from the Declaration of Independence. So you have maybe as many lines as there are, as many people, and each one takes a turn to get up and say his line. And there's young, there's old, there's kids, black and white, veterans like us. We don't do the reading. We're just standing there as the color guard. And you have some cops and firemen, and of course, the bike clubs, and a couple of the bike clubs that are in this are actually veterans groups, so we get to talk and meet with them beforehand. It's a nice way to honor a sacrifice from 235 years ago where people really did put it on the line, and we seem to forget that. Until you go out to the Monmouth battlefield a mile from here and you see where these people really put it on the line, some of the people. I mean, they were shooting, people died. There's a grave at Tennant Church over there for the casualties of that battle. It's there, a small monument. People paid for what we have today. And I honor that. I really think that's it's a big thing. And I don't have the words to say it. The other thing we do is, my father-in-law was born on the 4th of July. He's a veteran, like myself, and he's buried at the Veterans Cemetery out there on 537. So my wife and I drive out. Now, the thing about Harry, he would never want flowers on his grave. He thought, what? He was a practical guy. He said, I don't want that crap, flowers, that's for sissies, he said, something like that. My wife always wants to leave something. So what we do is those little tin soldiers that I hand make and hand paint, we leave one of them. And this year we left a bazooka guy. It's kind of like Harry's sense of humor. There's been a joke going around about a bazooka lately, and he would have appreciated it. So we leave the little bazooka guy standing there. And hopefully what happens, maybe some kid comes by later and picks it up and thinks it's cool. But it's a good way, a good little memorial just for a moment. That little guardsman there, that little guy guarding his tomb for a few hours, however long before someone finds him. And it's just something we like, my wife especially, since she'd like to leave something. But he'd roll in his grave if he thought it was flowers. He was just that kind of guy. I miss him. He was a good guy. We really, for the first time I met him, we got along great, and just, oh man, I think of some of the incidents that we had. One of the funniest was the one Thanksgiving, neither of us. They couldn't get it together, we couldn't get it together. It was just one of those funny years. I says, well, why don't we pick up Thanksgiving dinner from Boston Market? Yeah, that's an idea. We can't get out of our own way. We'll do that. So we're sitting in the back room. They had the sunroom at the house. We're eating out of the containers for Thanksgiving. It was the best Thanksgiving you could think of, because there was that element of fun, a little more element of fun, and a little more, I'd say that low-key element of things going a bit haywire to get us there, So it's just something to think about. So the 4th is a very special day for me, and I hope it's a special day for you too. Of course, there is so much fireworks show, parades and all, but I do like to remember that that's all well and good, but it wouldn't happen if people weren't willing to put it on the line. And, I went out to Tennant Church to see the graves. I had one thing happen there, was when I looked at the graves, they had grave markers of veterans who had died of old age or whatever, didn't die in battle. And it would say where they served, and the oldest ones would either say Continental Line or New Jersey Militia. And then it went to War of 1812 and Black Hawk War and subsequent wars right up to the present. And we were standing there, and I'm looking at this. I says to my wife, I feel like I'm part of this line of continuity. Of course, I did a couple of years in the Army, and I did a few years in the National Guard. And these guys were like the guys who started it all. They were the first. And I'm part of that long line of continuity of people who put on a uniform to serve. And it's a good feeling that it's very hard to describe. With ancestors, I have a little problem because I was adopted. All I know that genetically I'm German Nordic. The family that adopted me isn't, and their family, that's them. I don't have a connection of my own like that. So when I find a connection like this is really an important thing. It really tunes me in, and to feel that connection to that long line of soldiers for this country, going back to the time of the Battle of Monmouth, and being part of that long training. I see the kids that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan today, and the uniforms, equipment they got, they look so different from us. We were the guys in olive drab with the steel helmets, and it's just that change, but still part of that same stream. So it's something that feels very special to me. It comes out on the 4th of July, a holiday I really like. It's one I really enjoy. I enjoy the Memorial Day. I enjoy marching in the parade and being part of the color guard there for my Legion post. Of course, 4th of July, and the other thing we do as a post is in Freehold Township, they have a small ceremony on Veterans Day. And those are the days we go out to honor those who have gone before and are still doing. It's a great thing. I would advise for anyone, especially if you're a veteran, getting involved in something like this really gives you a feeling of belonging that you may have missed for many years. And if you're not a veteran, there's so many ways you can just go out and do something to feel part of this thing that we have. Of course, I may be heathen, but I'm also American, and this is my nation. This is my home. This is ours. This is the country. This is the America worth fighting for. So I like being I like having a little more part in it. So just a thought for today, because this is a special day. This is Uncle Thor. Have a good one.